Once you become an internet sensation, people want to know what's next. So what's next for Travis Williams?
Oh, what's next is trying to get these guys to get to the ball and play well on defense. That's what's next. And I mean, it was awesome how that thing just went viral. But what it shows you, a lot of people has went back through my social media and just started watching. But it's like, oh, he been doing this. It was just that deal that caught fire. Um, but man, I'm just blessed to be here, blessed to be coaching. So I just try to be my authentic self. So I like music. You may see me singing, rapping, dancing with my kids, jumping in the pool with my kids, going paintball with the players, going dodgeball. That's who I am. So it wasn't like this one deal that just out of nowhere. So um, it was cool. It was cool.
Marcus was in here just a couple days ago and said that linebacker is basically the deepest unit on defense. I want to get your thoughts on that, and then the different body types. You're really working a lot of different other guys in at linebacker too.
Yes. Went in the portal and also went in high school and got guys and recruited well. And, now it was our job to kind of figure out, where the pieces fit. We definitely think we're talented. Now we got to put it all together. But we're very encouraged by the depth of the linebackers.
Saying from the coaches and players so far has been, we don't have starters, we have standards. What does that mean to you?
You know what? I heard Coach Belichick say that. Like, so what the standards are is exactly starting with our head coach, Coach Pittman. So it's all about everything as far as embracing the hog and what our standards are, and being on time, going to study hall, practicing hard, practicing with that attitude, and getting to the ball with bad intentions. If you have the standards, that's what a starter is to us. And the old days of just 11 guys going out there and say, okay, these are the starters. That's not true today. We tell the guys right now, we put a guy on the field and the rest of the guys that's out there with him say, oh, coach, you can't have him out there. Or they say, you know what, coach, yeah, bring him out. He could come enjoy the fun. Then that's a starter to us. So that's when you build in that depth to be able to put different people out there. But we don't have starters. We have standards, and it's the standards that's set by our head coach. And then we have defensive standards as well.
Like Brent Spence is just a really versatile guy. You guys have him, on the edge sometimes. I guess where do you prefer him, and what kind of player do you see him as?
I mean, he can do different things. Like we always talk about the more you can do, so not just playing one position. So the more you can do to help the defense. So you don't want to be out there and say, we can't run this particular defense because this particular person is banged up. So he brings different things for us, inside, outside, different things like that. So man, he's just so talented. It's where we could put him at different positions. So whatever that position may be, is whatever fits the overall defense, if that makes sense.
I think one indicator that you guys like your numbers at linebacker, at least one day, it looked like you guys were doing stuff with like 4 of them out there on the field. You talk about what you're doing with the 4 linebacker look.
Yes, sir. So again, it's our job to figure out, okay, who is the best 11, and what are we trying to do? So if it's 4 linebackers that happen to be out there, great. If it's 2 linebackers, great. If it's 1 and we in a dime set, great. So, but it's our job to try to figure out, okay, how can we play our best guys? So it's like, you take Landon, for instance. There's no need for Landon to be on the sideline next to me, So we're just trying to, I know you talked about linebackers, but it's my job to kind of figure out where those pieces fit. And that's what we're trying to do, just trying to figure out, okay, what's best for the overall defense.
We've you mentioned last time we talked to you that you don't call them the Mike the Will, you call them the money and the Mike. But what body types? I know they're interchangeable. And
right,
what body types?
Yeah, the body type. So they're interchangeable. So we call it the Mac and the money. Now the game has changed where you don't just have a Mac. You got to have. So that's the old school Mike Will. So just being able to do some different things. Everything is so spread out now. You got to have guys that can run. So you could take a Brad Spence. He could play the Will or the Mac. You could take Sawyer and vice versa, or whoever you want to put out there. So we try to teach them both, so they're able to do both. So we do a train, but really both guys are in the box and got to take on blocks and different things like that. But you want guys with length. You want length. That's the first thing everybody around the country gonna look for: length, size, and guys that can run. But then you get us Anthony Switzer, that's right at 6 foot, but he's a heck of a football player. You always like, man, you know what? I want a football player. What does that mean? Man, is he always around the ball? Do he love football? So you have different body types. So you got to just make sure whatever you get, they love football. And obviously you're gonna profile and say, okay, I want them 6'2" or whatever. But just make sure the guys you get can play.
We've heard from a couple guys that Bradley Shaw is a freshman that stood out. Just what have been your first impressions of him?
Yeah, you won't even know he's in the room. Doesn't say much, very mature, very smart. His high school he came from, Hoover, Alabama. They've done a great job just coaching him up. Like he has a really good FBI. He has a really good football IQ and it comes easy. So we're dual training him as well. He's a kid that has a bright future. He's doing some really good stuff.
You guys, your jump or the jump of the defense from 2 seasons ago to last year kind of was very similar from the jump that your defense made at UCF when you first got there. Were there any similarities, in terms of the development between your first season at UCF and your first season at Arkansas?
Yeah, it's just your first year there, you're teaching the defense that is new. But I think the main thing is getting the guys to believe in you and what you're saying and getting to the ball and playing with that type of mindset that you're looking for. And as you continue to go, they could just understand the concepts and what some things that you're trying to do. I just think when you cut on the film, you want the opponent to see, okay, they play hard. You want the fans to see, okay, they play hard. And that's our job to do that. Now we got to coach them, right? So I always tell them before we even go out on the field, every mistake that you make belongs to me except your effort and stupid penalties and you being tough, right? So if you mess up in the game, I didn't coach it right. So let your hair down and go play football. So it kind of takes that stress off the young man. But the main thing is just making sure the guys get to the ball and have fun. And it's up to us as coaches to continue to teach them each week. And that's what we try to do.
And piggybacking off that, what's the key to the next step, for the defense? So it's not like a stagnation, but more improvement this year.
Absolutely. Just being greedy. Like, don't leave any meat on the bone. The great defense is like, just go out there and just be greedy. Like, they want it all. Like, okay, yeah, we made a jump. That's awesome. But I could also point at games like, okay, no, we could have played better, right? So it's my job to get them to play better, right? And their job to continue to get better. But just having that defense of like, you know what? Don't give up nothing. I don't care if it's a turnover and we got to go out on defense. Like, we're like first responders. Like, we got to put the fire out. That has to be our mentality. Don't make any excuse. Our job is to play defense and stop them from scoring. So, man, go out there and just be greedy. Don't give them anything. So now you can take that next step from there.
Hi, Coach.
I got one more. Is there anything you learned last year about yourself? I know you're still kind of early in your career as a defensive coordinator. What was something maybe that you learned about yourself first year at Arkansas?
One thing, well, I don't know. I kind of know myself. Man, football is football. They got 11, we got 11. We got to get them lined up. Now, if they come out at 12, I don't have an answer for that. They come out with 12 guys. But that was my first time up in the booth, and you could kind of see everything. And it's like calm. You don't really hear the fans or anything, so you could kind of make calls, and that's great. But I miss being in front of the players. I miss like being in front of them, and if it's a timeout, looking in their eyes and getting things fixed or encouraging them and different things like that. But Jake Trump is in the press box with me. He was like, "Man, you always like this." So I try not to be emotionally inconsistent. I'm like this. So I try to be anyway. But I don't know if I learned anything about myself. I did see a different view from being in the press box. If that makes sense to you.
Coach Pittman was in here talking about how he's maybe changed how he handles things on a day-to-day basis, a little more patient and calm. I guess working with him, how have you seen him develop now that it's your second year here?
Yeah, I always thought he was a patient and calm person, to be honest with you. He's a player's coach. He's a guy that's you're around him, he's a deep thinker. He just doesn't react. He just doesn't react. So when I'm watching him, I see how he kind of put things together in his mind, different situations, on the field, off the field, just different situations. So I see that and I soak all of that in. He's not a guy that just reacts. A lot of times he really sit there and he's kind of proactive when he's thinking. He thinks before he responds. So I always thought he was more like this, than being here and there, So that's just from my view.
You've got a couple of really versatile guys in Switzer and Worth. I'm curious, where do you see them fitting in? Do you want them to zero in on one position, or do you see them playing multiple spots throughout the season?
They're playing multiple spots. Just trying to build that depth. The more you can do is just kind of what we talk about with the guys, and they're playing all over the place. They're playing all over the place, and we got to find okay, what is that first spot? and then what would be that secondary spot for him. But both of them, I mean, I'm talking about both of those guys. The reason we're able to do that, both of them are really smart football players. Even Steven Dix, really smart football IQ. So it allows us to do different things with those guys.
I was going to ask you about Steven Dix. Kind of what went in, how did y'all identify him? Kind of what went into the recruiting process of getting him here?
Oh, I didn't identify him. He jumped in the portal. I didn't know anything about him. We looking to get linebackers. We reached out to him and got him on a visit, and he committed. I didn't know him from a can of paint. Didn't know him. So I just, once he did it, reached out. He had some other visits set, and you know how I go, okay, we got to get him first. Because a lot of times if you don't get him first, you won't get him at all. So we got him down first, and he enjoyed it. And he saw himself wanting to be here and wanting to play here, and the rest is history.
Yeah, he's a guy that was very productive. I guess at Marshall last year. What do you like about his game?
You know what? He's strong. He is that Mac backer in the middle that commands and get people set. Very, very smart, really good football IQ. You know, he's that plugger. Really good kid diagnosed in the box. You know, and when you see him, I don't know if y'all saw him. I mean, he looks like a linebacker. Like he's put together, like a created player out there. So that's what he looks like. But very smart, quiet, but he asks the right questions. And he can run. He can run straight line. That's the one thing people don't know now. He can run. So I'm glad we got him.
What do you, how would you say Story's progressed from when you got him? Obviously came from a big time program at Georgia. What is he ready to kind of be your lead guy there, you think?
Shoot, we're a big time program here too, by the way. But so when he came in the spring, so I've been knowing Sorey for a long time. I recruited him in high school and all of that. When he jumped in the portal, Glenn Schumann is a good friend of mine. He's defensive coordinator over there. I called him about him. He helped me with him, and he didn't want to lose him, but it got to a point the kid, he was like, okay, I need to go somewhere else. And Glenn was like, nah, he's unbelievable player. Unbelievable person. So he's been awesome. So humble. Like he said all the time, like, man, I'm so happy to be here. Like he's happy. But watching him progress from the spring to now is just he's taking another step, another leap, because now he's understanding the defense. In the spring, he's just running around playing football. Now he's understanding why we're calling different things, and he's been a good get for us.
Well, more about the ends, if that's okay. Just obviously we know Landon, he's big time. How do you feel about the ends as a group? And then I guess I want to make sure I see it. Junkish, I know he was out, but he's been back. Kind of how's he fitting in?
Yeah, Anton, he just got back a couple of days ago, and we're glad we got him. And then Nico Davier is doing a great job. So we got some guys, and then you got Quincy Rose as well. That's very talented, very talented. He's going into his second year. So we have ends, and they're watching Landon, and they're watching what he. One thing about Landon, he leads by example, and the guys are able to watch how he leads and go about his practice, and he practices hard, and so we definitely feel good about our defensive ends.
Coach, Larry Work, you don't see a lot of 6'4", 224 in the slot.
Right.
Covering receivers, slot receivers, having to take on blockers, tackle running backs. Just what about him in that role makes him a good fit?
Just length. I think when guys are throwing, just having that length it really throws offenses out when you got like a 6'5" guy that's 225 out there. He has a 41-inch vertical and a 10-9 broad, or just some freakish numbers, so he gives us that flexibility out there, and he can do some different things for us. And he's another one that's like that Swiss Army knife. We got to figure out where he's at and what role he's going to play. But he's been a really good addition for us as well.
They're elite numbers for a wide receiver or cornerback.
Right.
What were your thoughts when you saw out of summer testing that he was putting those numbers up?
Yeah, go Hogs. He with us. When we saw it, I was like, yeah, that's because we knew like he had some crazy triple jump or hurdle times and all of that coming out of high school. And then when he did the broad jump and then he did the vertical, it's like, okay, that's different. That's different right there. But again, we got to just figure out right where he fits and everything. And he's another one now. Football comes easy to him. Like he gets it. He has a really good football IQ.
It's different our teams now than 5 years ago when you were relying on freshmen, and
Yeah.
you can just create a veteran team. It just seems like it's just so much more balanced across the conference and the nation.
Yes, because you can go in the portal and get guys. The only thing about the portal, you just don't know what you're getting unless you got a prior relationship, recruiting them out of high school or something like that. So that's the give and take of the portal. We just been blessed to go in and get good players and get good people. You know, that's the main thing. Like when we were going in, we made a decision as a staff. Okay, he can play, but what kind of person is he? You know, so that was really a target for us as well. And the guys that we brought in has been a great addition. Men, you know, just their character and how they carry themselves, and obviously they wouldn't be if we didn't think they could play football. But just the type of men they are was a great addition for us.
You mentioned that you like being on the sidelines, looking at the players during the game. How will that change with the iPods? I mean, will that change how you coach?
No, sir. So with us having, I think we get 8 total, and we have 4 on the field, 4 upstairs. What it does is it allows you got to make a decision. Do you even need your full-time guys upstairs because you got the iPad? And now the analysts and GAs can coach. They just changed those rules. So you got to kind of figure out how you want to have your coaches. But what we'll do, we'll definitely use the iPads. A lot of times you say, hey, where the ball hit? Well, such and such was out of their gap. Was it a D lineman? Was it a linebacker? Like, what was the fit? And everybody would say, oh, it was a D lineman. Then you get in on Sundays, like, it wasn't a D lineman, it was a linebacker. So the iPads will allow us to fix it like right away. And so same thing with offense. They'll see what we are in and say, okay, they're running this, so we need to run this play or that play. So it's gonna be some give and take with it, but it'll allow us to fix whatever issue it is on the field.
What makes facing a Bobby Petrino offense difficult, and how does that help you guys?
We know, man, Coach Petrino is a great offensive mind. So he gives you so many different formations, so many different personnels, so many different plays and different things. If he see one thing, he got an answer for this. He got an answer, like he has answers for everything that we give him. So it's been good for us to go against that. Like, I mean, he's really good. He's really good at calling plays, really good at giving his best players, putting them in positions to make plays. You know, a lot of people think it's all downhill passes, but Coach Petrino, you know, he'll run the ball. He'll run the ball. Like, he understands a physical offense, and, you know, you got to be physical in this league. So I've been knowing him a long time. I've been knowing him for 22 years. So we go all the way back to 2002. And so he's been same way ever since then. He's a great offensive mind.
You guys have experimented around with helmet communications, and Sam gave the indication that maybe on defense you're still going to do signals. What are your thoughts about that addition and how it will affect y'all?
Yeah, so you'll still have to have the signals. We'll use the helmet mics as well. We'll make checks off of it, a quarterback check, and we can check and all that. Defensively, you just don't know what you're going to get because, okay, if they know you're using it, because offenses, they don't huddle up. It's fast paced. So if you have one guy with a mic in his helmet and you just using the helmet, you got to talk to that one guy. That one guy got to talk to 10 other guys, and the offense is going fast. So it's not really an advantage like you think. You're gonna still have the same signal system, whatever your own sideline signal system is. You'll still have that.
Coach, I'm curious, you use the word smart a lot when kind of talking about some players. When you're going out and recruiting, whether it's high school guys or guys in the portal, what qualities do you look for when you are looking for one of those smart players?
Yeah, so I put them on the board. And then it's not like knowing my offense. It's like, I mean, my defense is like, okay, draw up the defense that you have in your high school or your JUCO. Just draw it up. And I just want to see how much defense that they know. You know, you used to have, to be honest with you, used to go, man, you go to the small town and you say, okay, man, by this kid, 3rd or 4th year, he's gonna be like really good. Like, he just raw, right? Now you still do that. So we still do that. But now it's like, okay, I may need to go to whatever, such and such high school where they got all these facilities and they're getting all this coaching. So now the guy kind of football IQ is a little higher. So it's a little, you know, you try to balance both. But what I do is just put the kid on the board and say, drop your favorite defense and just see how much he knows and see how much we will have to teach him. That's what I do.
Is the ability to mic up or with the players, is that a bigger advantage for the offense?
I think it is, because like you can talk to them up to with 15 seconds left. So you used to so really the coordinator could really play video. He's playing a video game. He could talk to him up to 15 seconds, see what the defense is in, and say, okay, run this play. or throw it to this person, right? Now defenses, they got to disguise. What we have to do defensively, be really, really good at pre-snap disguise and then post-snap movement. So now, but if you just line up, I mean, that's not smart. That's on the defensive coordinator. They just line up and there's no movement because you got the offensive coordinator over there. He's just looking and say, okay, they in quarters, run this. They in middle close, run that. So it has to be a lot of pre-snap disguise, or when they check, the defense have to check. So it have to be a lot of just checks, second checks after they check.
You talked about Switzer's versatility, obviously, because he's listed as a DB, but he's playing a lot of linebacker. Well, what good characteristics does he have for linebacker that you like?
First of all, he love football. It's hard to play in there and not love football because we got to face these 300-pound linemen each play. And love football has a really good like if he sees it one time, like he got it. His football IQ is just out the roof. Like he's very, very sharp and he makes checks, any little small movement, he kind of could pick on what route is coming or what play is coming. If you hear the offensive line say whatever they're going to say, he'll point exactly where the ball is going. Man, just a football player. You could tell he's a gym rat as far as learning football. And you could just tell, like, we talk as a defensive staff, like, okay, yeah, he was in the backyard. Like he's a kid that played in the backyard, got dirty, like one of those type kids because he loved football.
What's maybe the biggest thing you're hoping to see from your defense tomorrow during the scrimmage?
Yeah, really start fast. Start fast. I didn't think we started fast the first scrimmage. We played well as the scrimmage progressed, but man, we got to start fast. Like that's just what we have to do, and try to get the momentum for our offense and different things like that. So I want to see them start fast and just play with that physical mindset, getting to the ball with it, like their hair on fire and like their life depending on it. So but the main thing is starting fast.
Coach, appreciate you.
Thank you guys. And